It's Wednesday, November 29th. I'm your host, Sarah Beal. On today's show, we check in with the Barnstable Police Chief, Paul McDonald. We'll talk to Finance Director Mark Millen about tax bill classifications and exemptions. And finally, we'll talk with Katie Downer. She's the Military and Veterans Advisor and Counselor at Cape Cod Community College. But first, let's get a look at today's top headlines. The Town of Barnstable Public Health Division will hold a flu clinic at the Hyannis Youth and Community Center on Thursday, December 7th from 2 to 4 p.m. The clinic is open to town residents only, and the fee is just $3. For more information, you can call the Health Division at 508-862-4644. The Hyannis High Arts Campus is celebrating the December holiday season with a campus-wide event. From 5 to 7 p.m. on Saturday, December 2nd, celebrate the season and explore artful creations in 4 unique settings. The High Arts Campus provides community art space, working artist studios, and a professional artist gallery that support and promote the arts through instruction, events, exhibits, and performances. The campus includes the Geyer Barn, Gallery Art Trio, Studio 46, Melissa Morris, and Bass River Pottery. For more information, you can visit artsbarnstable.com. Food composting is available at the transfer station and recycling center. The goal of the program is to reduce the amount of food waste that gets thrown away with the trash, thereby reducing trash disposal costs. Residents with current trash disposal or recycling only sticker may now drop off their household kitchen scraps and food waste for composting at no additional cost. The collection barrels are located in one of the sheds used to contain recycling materials. While most kitchen scraps may be composted, such items as kitty litter, plastics, cardboard, and styrofoam may not be disposed of for composting. The 25th session of Inside Barnstable Town Government at Citizens Leadership Academy will begin Tuesday, January 30th. The Academy is an 11-week commitment with the goal of educating the citizens of Barnstable about the operations of town government, while also obtaining valuable feedback from those citizens taking part in the Academy. To date, over 700 Barnstable residents and employees have participated in the program. The classes will be on Tuesday evenings from 6:30 to 9 p.m. and will be held in various locations throughout the town. The program is free of charge and open to anyone who resides or works in the town of Barnstable. Class size is limited, so please register early to avoid the waiting list. Applications are available in the town manager's office or online at townofbarnstable.us. Mass DOT is continuing their roadway improvements at the intersection of Route 28 and Versus Way. The next phase started last week and will continue until this Friday, December 1st. During this phase, the eastbound lane of Route 28 will be detoured south on Versus Way, down Walton Ave, and then back out onto Route 28. Traffic during construction will be delayed, and motorists are advised to seek an alternate route. Up next, we talk with Chief of Police, Paul McDonald. Chief, thank you so much for joining us today. We have a couple things we want to chat about. The first thing we want to talk about is there was a shooting last Friday in the Fresh Holes Road area. What can you tell me about this?
Last Friday afternoon at about 4:20, we responded to the area of 34 Fresh Hills Road regarding 2 individuals arguing. Upon our arrival, there was a small group gathered to the rear parking lot, number 34. We interviewed everyone that was in the area. There was no sign of an altercation. There were no problems. A short time later, we were dispatched to Cape Cod Hospital regarding an individual who just arrived at the emergency room with a gunshot wound to his right leg. Upon the further investigation, we found out both incidents were related. The individual that was shot was identified as Mark Cheeks. He was in the area of 34 Fresh Hills Road. He was involved in some type of verbal altercation, and he was shot in the right leg. It's unclear if he was shot by another individual or if it was a self-inflicted wound when he pulled out a weapon and the weapon might have accidentally discharged. It is under investigation. We do have multiple witnesses there. Unfortunately, the victim, Mr. Cheeks, he's less than cooperative. He is not telling us much at all. Actually, he's denying everything, and he does not want to talk to the police at all, which is something we dealt with quite often in these type of situations. But we are looking into it.
Is this anything that people that live in that neighborhood need to be worried about, or does it seem like an isolated incident?
It was more of a retaliatory incident. We know what the argument was about. We know there was another incident that occurred about approximately 10 days earlier. So these individuals were looking for Mr. Cheeks to deal with him. So this was not a random event. Neither one of the individuals, actually everybody involved in it, there were numerous people down there. Nobody was from the area of Fresh Hills and Harriman Road. It's unfortunate because in the past we have had some incidents down in that area, but there has not been a problem down there in quite some time. So this is unfortunate there, but we do hope to make an arrest one way or the other.
Mm-hmm. Good to hear. Another incident that happened this week on Monday night, there were some flares seen off of Sandy Neck Park Beach. What can you tell me about this?
Last night, we responded out to the area of Millway Beach and Sandy Neck. There were multiple calls regarding multiple flares being shot off out into the Bay Area, off of Sandwich, perhaps as far out as Sandwich in Plymouth. We had a couple of officers out there. They, too, saw the flares. We notified Coast Guard. We notified the Barnstable Fire Department. They still had their boat in the water. The boats were deployed. The Coast Guard deployed a 44-footer. They went out there. They made a pretty thorough search of the area. They did not come up with anything. There were no reported boats being overdue. There was nobody being reported missing. We have contacted Coast Guard this morning. They are going to send up a helicopter this morning just to double-check the area. It possibly could be kids out there firing off the flares. We don't know right now, but right now we have no one being reported as missing and no vessels are being reported missing either. So we're not sure exactly what we have, if it's just a prank or it's just kids firing off flare guns.
Yeah, unfortunately, there's no way to know unless somebody calls in. So, unfortunately, hopefully it's a prank, but if it's a prank, it's a very, very costly and inappropriate prank at this time.
There was a lot of resources that were deployed last night. It's such a vast area out there. When you have a flare goes off like that, it's very difficult to pinpoint exactly where it is.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you, Chief. We also want to talk some great news. The new officers, we've talked about this before.
Yep.
You have 4 new officers being sworn in on Friday. I know you're very excited about these new officers to come on board.
Friday at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. They graduated from the academy a week and a half ago. They are now doing in-house academy at the police station for 2 weeks. They will be sworn in officially this Friday at 3 o'clock, and they will start their FTO program this following Sunday. So we are excited because we have, all four of these officers. We have 2 males, 2 females. They are outstanding young men and women, and we're looking forward to them coming on. 2 of them are Brazilians. We have a significant Brazilian community here on the Cape and downtown Hyannis, so this is going to go a long way. It's just a reflection of the police department, working with the community. So we're looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's wonderful. On top of there being, the Brazilian officers, I'm excited to hear that there's 2 more female officers coming on to the department.
Yes, the female officers do a great job here. We have 14 or 15 female officers. They do a great job. One's a command level officer. 3 of them are supervisors. They do an awesome job here.
Wonderful. I look forward to hopefully being able to share the swearing-in ceremony on Barnstable Today next week. The last thing we wanted to touch on is that you guys are still continuing your toy drive. You're collecting for the annual Stuff-A-Bus, and you're also collecting for a baby center in Hyannis.
We are. It's something we do every single year. Brian Morrison does this. He leads it. He is the ambassador of goodwill for the Barnstable PD, and the toys are already starting to come in, and we expect to be a huge turnout for everybody. And sometime towards the middle of December, we'll meet everybody over the Toys R Us and bring all the toys over there. So we're looking forward to it.
Wonderful. And people can just bring any toys or donations they have right into the Barnstable Police
Department.
Right
to the front lobby of the BPD.
Great. Thank you so much, Chief, for joining us today, giving us an update on all the things that are going on. I really appreciate it, and I hope you have a great week.
Same to you. Good talking to you. Bye-bye.
Bye. My guest today is Barnstable Police Chief Paul McDonald. Coming up, we'll meet Katie Downer of Cape Cod Community College. But first, I recently talked to Mark Milne about the upcoming town council vote on tax bill classifications and exemptions. Mark, thank you so much for joining us today. You gave a brief presentation last week at Town Council about the tax classification that the Town Council will vote on December 7th. So let's kind of start with that. There's 2 different options. There's the split tax and then the residential exemption.
Yes, every year the council is required to vote on whether or not they want to adopt a split tax rate. And if they choose to do so, they could shift a portion of the tax levy from the residential class to the commercial, industrial, and personal property class, whereby the tax rate for that commercial, industrial, and personal property class could be as much as 1.75 times the residential rate. So, for example, if they were to adopt a tax rate for that CIP class that was 1.5 times that of the residential class, the tax rates next year for this year for the residential rate would be $8.11, and the CIP rate would be $13.06, which effectively shifts over $7 million of the tax levy from the residential class to the CIP class. So that's one option that they have to choose every single year, whether or not to have just a single tax rate or shift a portion of the residential class to the CIP class by adopting a factor greater than 1.
Okay. And then the other option, which is the option that I believe that the town the town council has been voting on, this is their choice for the past few years, is the residential exemption.
Yes, the residential exemption it's been in place now since 2006, so we're going on our 12th year of having a residential exemption in place. This item is brought forward every year since we currently have one, and what it allows the council to do is they could shift, or they could exempt up to 35% of the average residential value, and have that reduced amount come off of every primary resident homeowner's property value before the tax is applied. And so what it does is it shifts a portion of the residential tax levy from primary homeowners, those being residents here, to secondary homeowners. Mm-hmm. So it has to be, since we have one in place, we bring it forward every year to allow the council the decision to continue it or to change it. So they could adopt anywhere from a 1% or 0% to a 35% residential exemption.
Right, and last year they voted for 20%.
Yes, it's been 20% every year since 2006. Mm-hmm. So that we're going to, the item before them on December 7th will ask if they want to continue with that same percentage. If somebody were inclined to change it, either increase it or lower it, somebody would have to make a motion to do so.
Okay.
But that tax shifting option doesn't impact the commercial, industrial, and personal property tax. It only shifts the portion of the residential levy between the residential taxpayers, those being primary homeowners and secondary homeowners. Right. And there's a break-even point whereby a primary homeowner can be negatively impacted by the residential exemption, and it's when the property value gets up to almost $1 million. I think the break-even point is $996,000 and change. When you get above that level, a primary homeowner, even with the residential exemption, will pay more in tax. Mm-hmm. So it's a very it's a tax levy shifting option that provides a significant property tax benefit to the lower valued properties in town, and by shifting more to the higher property values and second homeowners.
Mm-hmm. I think you said at Town Council there's about 400 homes in the town of Barnstable that are over that $996,000 mark. So
yes,
it's definitely a smaller piece of the pie, as they say, than the rest of the homeowners, the primary residence homeowners in the town of Barnstable.
It is a small percentage. We have over 12,000 primary homeowners in the town of Barnstable, and less than 400 of them are negatively impacted by the residential exemption, so it is a small percentage.
Okay. And the town council will take this up on their December 7th meeting. Will you, at that point, will you answer any questions that may come up between the last meeting and that meeting if they have them?
Yes, we will be available. The Director of Assessing and myself will make ourselves available to anyone that may have questions regarding these two tax levy shifting options and may want to meet to discuss in further detail. We will be available.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Mark, for coming on and explaining this more so that the residents and the business owners in the town kind of understand what this is all about. And I look forward to seeing how this all works out on December 7th.
Okay. Thank you, Sarah.
Thanks, Mark.
Yep.
Have a great day.
Yep. Bye-bye.
Bye. My guest today is Mark Milne. He is our finance director here in the town of Barnstable. Katie, thank you so much for joining us today. You work at Cape Cod Community College in Veteran Services. You yourself are a vet. Let's talk a little bit about that at first before we get started, because I think it gives you a unique experience to help the vets that go to Cape Cod Community College. So let's talk a little bit about that.
Yep, so when I was 18 years old, this was back in August of 2002, I enlisted in the United States Air Force right out of high school. I served for a little over 5 years, including a deployment to Iraq in 2005. When I left the military, I went back to college. I did my bachelor's in Quincy at Eastern Nazarene College in music performance, and I did my master's degree at Lesley University in Cambridge in expressive therapies. I've been working as a counselor for probably a little over 5 years now, and I currently work at the college as the advisor and counselor for the students who are current military, former military, and beneficiaries using GI Bill benefits.
That's great. So let's talk a little bit about the services that are offered at 4Cs for veterans, because I know there's quite a few different things. So where would you like to start?
I guess I'll start with the GI Bill. That's what people think about first when we talk about veterans education benefits. So there's the Montgomery GI Bill, which most people are familiar with. However, it has had some changes over the years. So currently we're administering the Chapter 33, which is the post 9/11 GI Bill. This is the one that almost all veterans qualify for, especially if they were active duty. Previously, you had 15 years following your honorable discharge to utilize these benefits. However, now they've changed it. The post 9/11 GI Bill now has no expiration for anybody leaving active duty after January 1st of 2013. It's called the Forever GI Bill.
That's amazing.
Yes, it's very cool.
Yeah.
So, it used to be veterans, if they didn't get in within that 10 or 15 year window to use their benefits at a college, the benefits would essentially terminate, and they couldn't access them anymore. Now they can wait for 40 years following separation before they go back to school, and those benefits will always be there.
That's amazing. It gives them a chance to, I know a lot of people when they get out of the service, they go right into work. They might not have the time to add going to college into their lives at that point. So that's great that they can access that at any time.
Right, and you factor in a lot of veterans, they start families while they're in the military, so they've got young children at home. On top of trying to figure out what direction to go in following the military, a lot of times we see with veterans, when they separate from the military, there aren't always civilian equivalent jobs for them, so they have a hard time figuring out what to do next. To give you an example, I myself was a weapons system specialist on fighter jets, so I learned how to load ordnance onto fighter jets and maintain the weapons system. So when I got out of the military, I wasn't really sure what to be when I grow up.
Right.
So
that doesn't really correlate into civilian life.
So it took me a shorter amount of time to figure that out, but for a lot of vets, it takes them a long time to figure it out. Some of the other great programs that we offer at the college kind of revolve around disabilities. So a lot of the times veterans get out of the military and they have some kind of service-connected disability, whether they were physically wounded, mentally wounded, PTSD, traumatic brain injuries. So the college actually has a lot of really great disability services and programs that veterans also qualify for. So on top of getting their educational benefits, they can go and attain services with our O'Neill Center for Disabilities, which provides wonderful accommodations and plans for students to kind of manage whatever kinds of disabilities they're struggling with so that they can still be successful in their coursework. We also have a program called TRIO, which is a grant-funded program. It's federally funded, and what it does is it supports students who fall under certain eligibility criteria. And on top of the Disability Center services, we also provide professional tutoring, we provide career counseling, we provide a lot of extra tools that they might need if they needed a graphing calculator, if they needed access to a computer or a printer. We provide a lot of extra supports. I actually think they're going to be coming and doing a segment for your show.
Yeah,
so
probably.
I'll let them tell you about it. But it's really great because What's really great about that, the fact that my office works with the O'Neill Center for Disability Services and the TRIO office, is that we kind of form this all-encompassing support service for the veterans to make sure that they're successful despite anything that they might be wrestling with on a day-to-day basis.
Wow, that's amazing that you offer all of that right here at Cape Cod Community College.
Yes.
That's so important and so wonderful. I know that anybody who's looking for information can go right on the capecod.edu and look under student services, and that's where you're located on the website. And is there anything else you want to make sure our viewers are aware of?
I'm trying to rebolster the Veterans Club that we had at the college. The club used to do a lot of different functions when it first started, taking trips. I know they took a trip down to DC to visit, you know, the National Cemetery and all those other great things down there. So right now I'm trying to re-inspire that group and try to pull some people together so that we can start giving back to the community. Something that's common among all military members and veterans is that we have this sense of service and dedication in our hearts. It's just something that we love to do, is serve, and so I'm really hoping that I can get this Veterans Club active again so that we can continue to serve our community in which we live. We also have the Veterans Lounge. The college donated this space to the veterans so that while they're on campus, if they need a quiet place to study or grab a cup of coffee, they can swing by and hang out. We have really comfortable couches. We have a computer in case they need to jump on the computer. And I have tons and tons and tons of different local community resources for veterans, such as Hydrea for Heroes, Heroes in Transition, the Cape and Islands Veterans Center, the Outreach Center. I try to make sure that all my veterans know about the benefits that they are eligible for outside of education benefits. If they're eligible for health benefits, dental benefits, if they're looking for scholarships, or if they need any kind of financial assistance with their own family units. I do my best to help them resource and problem solve those situations when they arise.
That's wonderful. Where exactly are you located on campus?
I'm located in the Wilkins Library on the 2nd floor, and there's a sign that says Veteran Services, and it's really huge, so you can't miss it.
Perfect. Great. Well,
Yes.
I hope that some of our viewers, you know, will come down and see you or give you a call. I really appreciate you coming in and telling us all about what you guys do.
Me too. Thank you.
Thank you. My guest today is Katie Downer. She's the Military and Veterans Advisor and Counselor at Cape Cod Community College. This week's community calendar is all about the holidays. Each village in Barnstable hosts their own village event to get everyone in the holiday spirit. Here are the dates and times for all 7 upcoming village events. Thanks for joining us today. We'll be back tomorrow with another all-new show for you. For Barnstable Today, I'm Sarah Beal.